Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mark's Movies. I'm Mark, and today I thought we would talk about basically an explanation for certain things that I keep hearing, that I've heard a couple of comments on. First is my rating system. Now, I understand that it may not make a whole lot of sense, but the first thing you need to know about my rating system is that no movie is a perfect 10. I've never seen a movie that's perfect. I've seen a lot of very good movies. I've seen a lot of great movies, a lot of amazing movies, but I would never call any of them perfect. That's just my opinion on things. I don't think anything is perfect. I think things can come close, but nothing is perfect. I also think there's nothing that is the worst movie ever made. Nothing is the bottom of the list. I've seen a couple of really bad movies, Howard the Duck and Son of the Mask. Probably the worst one is Son of the Mask. If you've never seen this movie, don't watch it. It's a sequel to The Mask that no one asked for. I would give that movie about a 2.5, 2.6 rating. That's how bad it is. But once again, it's bad, but I would never put it as the worst, as a 1, because I feel like there's still room to get worse than Son of the Mask. And I've heard rumors that those exist. Most of the movies are going to fall between a 5 and a 9 because, well, so here's my opinion on it. If it was enjoyable, if you liked the movie, it's a 5 or higher. And they all go from there by this. If it's a 5, it's a movie you enjoy, but you'll probably never watch again. You know, for the example of that, I'm going to do the ranking of the 4 Indiana Jones movies. So Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is a good example of this, the 4th one on my list. It was entertaining. I definitely, when I saw it in theaters opening night, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. But there were definitely a lot of parts in that movie that I was just like were too much. Were over the top, didn't make any sense. The plot was... In the other Indiana Jones movies, it's all about solving a mystery, like figuring ways out of things. And this one, it's basically like, let's follow a crazy person. The characters are still fun. You gotta love ornery Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. Karen Allen's back in this one. I like that. Cate Blanchett's great. I love Cate Blanchett, and she's a great villainess. The aliens didn't even bother me that much for this movie. It was mostly the 2 best examples for how much I didn't like that movie is the scene with the nuclear weapon in the refrigerator. Obviously, that's one of the ones that people mostly talk about. The other one is the chase scene with the ants. I feel like that's just dumb. No better way to... Like, it wasn't thrilling, it wasn't interesting, it was over the top, especially with all the swinging on the vines and things. It was just a lot of dumb. Just a lot of dumb. So I would give this movie about a 5.2. A 6 is a movie that... It was good, it was entertaining. And if... I may not choose it, but if years from now it's on, I might watch it. Or if someone wants to watch it that's a friend of mine, yeah, I'll watch it with you. You know, it was good. It was entertaining. It definitely, keeps the blood going, keeps the blood pumping. It's a thrilling movie at times. You know, one of those types of movies, but not a movie that you necessarily seek out to watch repeatedly most of the time. And the best example, and a good example of that, also approaching the 7th one, and I'll go ahead and mention that because the next 2 Indiana Jones movies I'll talk about together. 7 is a movie you really like that you will gladly watch again. It may not be today or tomorrow, but you'll definitely watch it in the very near future. You know you're going to watch it. You know you're going to like it. That's a 7 to me. And the next 2 Indiana Jones movies, which are me, the 3rd one is Temple of Doom, and 2 is Last Crusade. For this reason. When I was a kid, Temple of Doom, I saw when I was 6 years old. I'd barely started watching horror movies, and this movie freaked me out more than some of the horror movies that were out there. It was dark, it was creepy, it was weird, it was so just crazy to think about certain aspects of this movie. And you have the heart, there, like I said, there's so many dark parts of this movie. A lot of people like to complain about the constant yelling of Kate Capshaw's character. And yeah, it does get annoying, but I also feel like the more I watch that movie, the older I get, the more I realize, the more you think about the fact that she's a lounge singer who's lived probably not a great life, but definitely a life of more comfort than having to stick her arm into things to work a mechanism full of insects or eat monkeys' brains or, several of the things she ends up doing. There are a couple of over-the-top ridiculous parts in this movie. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you obviously missed out on all of the train car parts in this movie. They are thrilling, but there's a couple of jumps. Actually, one jump. Anyway, I don't mind the darkness now. I like it better now. But there are, like I said, a little too many over-the-top parts of this movie. And so I would give it about a 6.8, which is much better than I would have given it when I was younger. But I definitely would give it about a 6.8, maybe even a 6.9 now. Last Crusade, on the same token, Last Crusade is a little more straightforward. It's not quite as dark. There are definitely some dark elements similar to the original Raiders of the Lost Ark. The story is exciting and interesting, just like the first three are. The characters are great, but the reason this one I put it above the other one is the chemistry between Harrison Ford and Sean Connery is unmatched. Dad, what? Dad, what? I mean, it's fantastic. I love that movie. There's so many great parts in that movie, so many great lines, so many great revelations. But those two are the reason you want to watch that movie. They're fantastic. I'd give that one about a 7.4, maybe even a 7.5. Last but not least on my list, of course, is Raiders of the Lost Ark, number 1. And this movie is basically everything I've said about the other ones just upped. It's that good, it's that entertaining, it's that interesting, and I would give it an 8, which is a movie that is so good that you're like, oh, I want to watch that movie now. I want to rewatch it today. That's how much you love 8. When you get to 9, a 9 is almost in reverence. That's a movie that's the same as 8, but it was almost like a religious experience. It was a movie that revolutionized your views on what movies could be. You know what I mean? That's a 9. So those are my rankings. That's how I view them, and that's the ranking of the Indiana Jones movies. Another thing is that people don't seem to understand what I mean by my top 5 favorite movies of all time. What I mean by that is these are the movies that are integral to your character. Movies that help explain and define who you are as a person. These are movies from your childhood. These are not movies from nowadays that can change on a whim or change by your opinion or your mood. These are your hardcore core movies. You've seen Inside Out, the islands that she has in her mind, Riley does. That's what I'm talking about. The islands of her brain that help define her personality. That's what we're talking about. These are the movies that help show it. For example, here they are. You want my sense of humor? That's Ghostbusters. All day and all night. No explanation needed. That's it. People tell me I'm weird. Yeah, I understand that. Labyrinth. Labyrinth is one of my favorite movies. There's that explanation. Easy. When I was a kid, I always wanted a group of guy friends to hang out with, to be my friends, to support me, and for me to help support them. Even if we have a falling out, we work it out. Even if we, may have an argument or two, we still are, at the end of the day, we have each other's back. People that are there for you, like the T-Birds. Yeah, they're not perfect, but, they're your friends. They're your good friends. I have that now, but I didn't have it when I was younger, and it was something I always wanted. Jurassic Park. I wanted to be a paleontologist as a child. So Dr. Grant, an action star paleontologist, he was like my hero for a while. But mostly because science was always a huge part of my life. I love science. I love the exploration of science. And I love the idea that science feeds creativity and creativity feeds science. Thank you, Girl Meets World. That's how it works. Like, just think about the movie itself. John Hammond discovers he has partial DNA of dinosaurs. And he sets out to use his money and the best science available, the best scientists available, and the best tech available to create these beautiful dinosaurs to put in this park so that people can observe them and learn about them and see them for how that beautiful and amazing they are. But at the same time, you have the movie, the creation of the movie itself, which does the same thing. Because these two guys in a basement at ILM said, yeah, we can make a dinosaur walk. In a computer, we can design that. And that's what they did. And it changed the game. If you've ever seen a CG character, you have them to thank for it. You have these two guys in this basement to thank for it. And that just has spawned so much creativity. Think about it. Their creativity pushed the science and the technology forward to create the visuals, and that spawned more creativity of like, I wonder what else we can do. I wonder what else we can build. And now we have the movie industry we know today. I love it. And last but not least is Ladyhawke. And that was, finding someone who loves you like Isabeau loves Navarre, and Navarre loves Isabeau. Someone who will stick with you no matter what. That's something that I feel like we all want, and that's something I've definitely always strived for. What's the word? That I've always wanted, that I seek in my life. So, anyway, the last thing on the list for what I want to talk about today is something I've been trying to avoid for a while. I wanted y'all to get to know me and wanted you to get to know how much I love movies and all sorts of movies, all genres and types and styles of movies. But at the end of the day, my favorite type of movie is animated Disney movies. And that's not a joke. That's not an exaggeration either. If you're a friend or a family member of mine, which is mostly both at this point, you know this. You already know this. So I'm going to do my top 10 favorite Disney movies, which is a lie because I can't narrow it down to 10. So it's 16. We're going to do my top 16 favorite Disney movies. Now, I feel like 16 is a good number. There are 60 after all. The 61st one, Strange Worlds, comes out in November. So that will be the 61st. So Encanto is the 60th. So I have 1 through 60 to choose from, and here's my list. And I put them in alphabetical order, okay? The 13th Disney classic, number 1 on the list, and it's also my favorite animated Disney film of all time, is Alice in Wonderland. This movie is it's just silly. I mean, it really is just one of the silliest things you'll ever see. It's colorful, it's zany, the characters are phenomenal. I love the Cheshire Cat, my favorite animated character. There's so many great songs, there's so many ridiculous parts. That dialogue scene during the Painting the Roses Red part where the Queen's asking them, "The deuce you say? No, not me, the three." It's just fantastic. I love that movie. I love Alice in Wonderland. Next on the list is the 31st Disney classic, Aladdin. Aladdin is a fun, wonderful movie. I don't need to say that every time, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish. All of these are fun, wonderful, awesome movies with great characters and great story. I'm going to tell you the reason I love it the most, and that is the genie, Robin Williams. What more can you say about that one? And equally as important is the music. Howard Ashman and Alan Menken did the music for this movie, and 2 others on this list. They did 3 movies for Disney before Howard passed away in 91 of AIDS. He was incredible if you think about it. They did like 5 works together, he and Alan, and 4 of them are considered to be some of the greatest things from the late 80s, early 90s period still. Aladdin. The next one on my list is Beauty and the Beast, which is the 30th Disney classic they also worked on together, and probably their masterpiece. If I have to say it. It's probably their masterpiece. But they also did Little Shop of Horrors. So Beauty and the Beast is the 30th Disney classic. The music of that movie is phenomenal. But that whole story and the animation of it is gorgeous. And I mean, it's so good. It's the first animated film nominated for a Best Picture Oscar. It's the reason the animation Oscars exist at the Academy Awards. They did that with Beauty and the Beast. It's that good. Next on the list is Emperor's New Groove, the 40th Disney classic. This movie is basically Robin Williams in movie form. It is that fast, it's that quick, it's that funny, it's that smart, and that silly at times as well. The chemistry between John Goodman, David Spade, Eartha Kitt, Patrick Warburton, Wendy Malick, Tom Jones as his theme song singer. Even the original Piglet makes an appearance. He's the guy who throws off the Emperor's Groove and gets kicked out the window. There's so many fast, fascinating, funny parts. I love the fact that they break the fourth wall. I love the fact that it doesn't make sense, and they acknowledge it. They openly acknowledge things don't make sense, like how they beat him back to the castle. They're like, by all accounts, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's just the fact that they acknowledge it and go and shrug and move on. Love Emperor's New Groove. Next one on the list, 60th Disney classic, Encanto. No villain. That's groundbreaking. The fact that the music is so integral to the story and so beautiful. The setting of Colombia is fantastic. Is the characters, the family. I love this movie. I love Encanto. I can't get enough of Encanto. But we don't talk about that. Next on the list, of course, is there it is. That's right. Back to back, Frozen and Frozen 2. Frozen is the 53rd Disney classic. Frozen 2 is the 58th Disney classic. Frozen changed the game. Once again, we have an interesting storyline. We have the guy not saving the day. We have great animation. Oh my gosh, the snow, the ice, all of it is just beautiful. The characters are great. The costumes that they've created for them are great. The music is phenomenal. The Oscar-winning duo that is the married couple, whose names just escape me, who wrote the music for both of the first two, both of them Frozen movies. They are awesome. I love them. They're legendary. Let It Go is a phenomenal song. In Summer's my favorite from the movie, but that's beside the point. I wanted to make sure you know, and that's also one of those movies that I know the hype of it kind of ruined it for some people. It's died down now. Go watch it again. Plain and simple. It's that good. Check it out. Frozen 2, I like better. I wanted you to know how much I love Frozen so that I can tell you Frozen 2 I like better. I love the storyline. They created one of the most adorable little lizard characters ever. That's what Disney does. They love creating adorable characters. Mostly the younger versions of older characters. That's beside the point. Anyway, but that little lizard thing that spawns the fire, it's fantastic. So cute. But you want to watch me cry? You want to watch a grown man cry? Let's watch Frozen 2 and we'll do The Next Right Thing. Kristen Bell's performance in that is just beautiful. The Jungle Book is next. It's the 19th Disney classic. Again, all of the things I've said before, the characters are great. This was the last movie that Walt made before he passed on December 15th, 1966. And it's even more special because of that, but it's not great because of that. The movie was already great. This is my second favorite Disney movie, and it was my favorite until I watched Alice in Wonderland. The music of this movie is the reason I love it so much. Everything from the bare necessities to I Want to Be Like You to We're Your Friends to Trust in Me. Those songs are almost always in my brain. Love them. Anyway, the next one, the 9th Disney classic, is Lilo and Stitch. And for that, I got one thing to tell you. Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. This family is broken, but it's still good. Yes, Still good. The Lion King is next, the 32nd Disney classic. Lilo and Stitch was the 42nd Disney classic. And I don't really need to explain The Lion King. I feel like you got it. You get it. Next on the list is The Little Mermaid. This is the first one that Howard Ashman and Alan Menken did with Disney, and it shows. Just think about it. They're definitely all that good. They're all that big and that related. But again, you want one word for this? Ursula. Done. 12 is the 56th Disney classic, Moana. Little Mermaid is 28th. The 56th Disney classic, Moana. Moana, again, the story, the characters, the whole 9 yards, everything is wonderful. The beautiful animation, the ocean looks gorgeous, and it's such a fun character too. The songs are great. Everybody loves You're Welcome, and I do too. Dwayne Johnson is so charismatic, is so fun, is so good in that movie. But Alii Cravalho has the job of carrying that emotional weight, that story on her back. Her performance as Moana is incredible, is absolutely phenomenal. And I love it. She's so good. The next one on the list is the 36th Disney classic. I have a thing with the sixes, apparently. Everything but the 6th Disney classic is on my list. Anyway, and the 46th. Anyway, the next one, the 36th Disney classic, is Mulan. And again, I feel like I don't need to explain this one. But I'm going to give you just one thing, Ming-Na. Ming-Na Wen as the voice of Mulan. She is awesome. Again, has to carry that film. I mean, she has help, of course. Eddie Murphy is phenomenal. The cast is phenomenal. But the emotional impact, the emotional weight of that movie is all on her. And she does it easily. It seems easy. 14th on my list is the 16th Disney classic, told you, Sleeping Beauty. The animation style is unlike anything else that Disney has ever attempted. I mean, look at it. 101 Dalmatians and The Sword and the Stone came after, and and The Jungle Book after that. And right before it was it was Lady and the Tramp and Peter Pan. None of those movies look like Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty took its artistic style from paintings from the time, with the round trees and the specific looking banners and flags and all of that was designed after the look of these paintings, and it shows. The work shows. It is phenomenal. But again, Eleanor Audley as Maleficent is truly delicious, fantastic as Maleficent, and Mary Costa still to this day is my favorite Disney princess voice. That vocal aria she does at the beginning of I Wonder, alone. Sorry, I had to listen to it for a second. Is just fantastic. I love her voice. The 15th on my list is the 50th Disney classic, and that is Tangled. Again, all the things, like Disney has basically gotten to the point now where they know how it works. They know how to do it. They can change up the formula and make you still love it. But again, it's the chemistry between the two leads of Zachary Levi as Eugene and Mandy Moore as Rapunzel. Their chemistry is great. The story is fantastic. I love this movie. And last but not least is Wreck-It Ralph, the 52nd Disney classic. And again, it's one of the silliest movies you'll ever see. There's a lot of crazy things that happen to it. There's a lot of weird things that happen in it. But at the end of the day, you got Alan Tudyk, Jane Lynch, John C. Reilly, Sarah Silverman. The cast is phenomenal. Jack McBrayer. But that scene where he's falling toward the mountain to punch the Mentos into the steaming Diet Coke volcano, and he's just chanting the mantra. Gets me every time. All right, so that's the video for today. It ran a little longer than I wanted, but shorter than I was practicing, so that's fine. Please like and subscribe. Please comment below. Discuss the Disney movies. Discuss whatever you want on this. Dig down deep and see if you can come up with your original 5 favorites, the movies that help define you. Please comment. Like I said, start conversations. That's what I want. If you're a jerk, I will block you. Please don't be a jerk. All right, thank you. Bye.